Hey guys, how you doing? I'm live. Yeah, I'm on my walk. I just wanted to discuss something. I want to discuss my take on the alien thing. Um, I, uh, I, I think that the possibility that I'd mentioned is possible in a way that the aliens might have come from another planet, a million years ago and helped us evolve by interbreeding with us. But the only problem, and that's possible, but the only problem with that, or at least one of them, is that to travel that far would take longer than any lifetime, unless they found a wormhole, which theoretically exists, but we've never seen one. We never found one yet. So the only way for that story to be true in practical terms is if they found a wormhole. They could fold space like a piece of paper and just go from one point directly to another, and they could have come here. And they could be from another planet, like maybe from the Sirius constellation or something, or from love you, or from Draco things. But I recently have heard of another option that I think is just as likely to be true. Let's say that we really did evolve ourselves. We didn't need help. You never know. The Earth is millions of years old. We could have just evolved here ourselves. And then what the other alternative to what happened to explain the UFO thing is that they're from the future, like maybe 10,000 years from now, because it all fits. Just like my being Jim Morrison's son, I can't prove it, but all the information fits. We are becoming a sedate race, an asexual sedate race. We think sex is bad, so nobody has sex. Bad, bad, bad. And we don't exercise because we've got computers to do everything. We're not healthy because we overeat and don't work off the fat. We have machines do things for us so we can just sit there and have things come to us. The only way to make money is on computers, so no one goes out of the house. They just sit there on their laptop making money at home. Well, after about 10,000 years of this, we're all going to turn into the aliens, is my theory. Big heads, because that's all we've exercised over time, and little bodies, because those are shrunken over time. And then here's another thing: these aliens can't reproduce. Their sexual organs just out evolved them. They have no ability to procreate anymore. From what I understand, the best they can do is lay eggs, and I'm not even sure that even helps, or I'm not even sure that they even reproduce that way. But they are unable to reproduce, and they have discovered time travel because of their technology, and they've just traveled from the future, and they're trying to warn us, so that they don't end up where they already are. Or we don't end up where they already are. Or maybe they can even change the future by changing us. That's my latest theory. And another thing that happened over time in the 10,000 years it took for the aliens to evolve to that point is there was a cataclysm on the Earth that comes in about 5,000 years. And it's going to force all the survivors to go underground. I think a few might leave the Earth via spaceship, but the ones that really survived after that, I was speaking of the future in the past tense, which is really funny, like in Terminator movie or something. They went underground in 5,000 years, and they didn't have any place to exercise. They mingled with insects, because a lot of insects live underground. And the thing about insects is when they bite you, they don't just bite you. They share their DNA with you, and they mutate your DNA. When you get a mosquito bite, you just got a little bit of mosquito DNA in you right there. That's just part of what they can do, and what they do. And over time, once we had to go underground in about 5,000 years, we not only stopped exercising, we not only got no more sunlight, we not only became physically inert, but we got mingled with insects and got bitten by insects enough to become insect-like. That's why the aliens look kind of creepy, because they have they have insect DNA in them from being underground for 5,000 years or so, even though they are the same race as us. They're just humans from 10,000 years. That's my latest theory. It explains everything. I mean, well, the only other explanation, unless you say they don't exist, which is crazy because they do, is just that they found a wormhole. We've never found a wormhole, but maybe they did, and then blah, blah, blah. But why would they care? Why would they come all this way just for that? And if they didn't find a wormhole, how did they go all the way across millions of light years that they'd have to reproduce to even keep and eat each other even to get here, because there's no one's going to live that long. I think they're humans from the future, trying to save themselves and us. And I'm against becoming alien. That's why, hey, I don't think sex is bad. I do exercise. I don't just sit at home on my computer, and I do get out and use my body. I didn't do that because I thought of aliens. I didn't even know about that until like just the last few days. But it makes sense because my intuition told me I was right to do that. I didn't have all the answers as far as why I was, but I started walking in 1988, and there's even tales. There's even tales in folklore of people going off with these future people into spaceships and coming back, and hundreds of years have gone by, and they only age like a month. There's actually versions of that in the Bible. There's that in Hindu texts. There's that in Egyptian texts. And what they're describing, these ancient texts, and who's to say they're not true, is people that went away at very high to close to light speeds, and then time didn't move for them because they were moving so fast. And if you go at light speed for 100 years, you'll age about, I don't know, I mean, maybe not quite at light speed because you can't quite approach it. You can't get light speed because you aren't already there and because you have mass. The spaceship has mass. But let's say you get to 99% the speed of light. You travel for 1,000 years. You might only age a day or two. Then you come back and everyone else is gone and dead, and then you're in a whole different world. That's actually documented in several sources of ancient texts. Even the Bible has a mention of it. But your pastor will never say that because it doesn't help his agenda of making your money, or getting your money. Whatever, that's not the point right now. So that's my latest theory. That's what we're becoming. All the pudges, the people that hate human nature, which is actually at least, and hate me because I walk around and I don't just sit there on my fucking laptop. Driving around in what they call plush cars, but they're not getting exercise. I am. They're not getting sunlight. I am. They're not healthy. I am. They can have their fucking cars. And I don't just sit at home on my computer all day, and I keep active and keep my primitive, my base,